He lives, but more importantly, it lives. I mean the show, that's what I mean by it. I'm just trying to, whatever, you get me. Hi everybody, Carla here. This is my blog. Welcome everybody. I talk about my fandoms and just stuff about fandom in general, so if that's your thing, you're in the right place. Today, I'm gonna talk about Stranger Things because it has been a long time since we've had anything that has to do with Stranger Things. And it was about damn time. Let me just say that. Like, there's this feeling on the internet that Stranger Things is just taking too long, and that's somehow a sign of imminent doom that the season is going to suck or something. Like, I get it, and you guys know who you are. I love you all, but I cannot subscribe to that way of thinking. I don't think Stranger Things is a show that has always taken a really long time to film and a really long time to post-produce and everything. So I'm not surprised, and yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, but did you miss the fact that there's a pandemic? Like, they couldn't film anything for like almost an entire year. So like, I'm not surprised that they're running behind. They still have to deal with COVID restrictions and whatever, so I'm not shocked that it's going slower than usual, and it still hasn't been as long as the filming was for the previous season. Like, season 3 took a long time to film, like not to start filming, but like when they started up until when they ended filming, and they were filming pretty continuously the entire time. So I'm not surprised that this one is taking a long time, what feels like a long time, and on top of that, it still hasn't even taken as long as season 3 did. I'm not speculating anything about the time of filming as to, when the season's gonna be done, when they're gonna stop filming, how long it's gonna take for pre-production. I think they're still in a normal time frame, except that it's 1 year behind because COVID. So I tend to be a bit more understanding than most average Stranger Things fans, I think. Like, yeah, it's taken a long time, but talk to me in 4 months if they're still at it and we still have like nothing, then I'll be worried. But this time frame seems reasonable to me, considering everything they have to deal with at the moment. Like, seriously, people, you want to film like one kissing scene, you have to be like in quarantine for 2 weeks, and that's ridiculous. But it's one of those things that you can't really get around. You have to do it by the book, so you can make sure that everybody on set is healthy and doing okay and stuff. So I'm okay with waiting a little bit, and I know that people, because it's taken so long, people are getting kind of grumpy, and I'm not trying to say that anybody doesn't have the right to feel that way. It's fine. Like, I get it. I am as anxious. I get feeling grumpy. I get it. I'm not blaming anybody. That's fine. You can have your opinion. It's fine by me. I tend to be a little bit more positive about it. So I think production is still going as expected for me. And then if they're done with production by, say, June or even early July, they could still conceivably release this thing this year. I don't think it's going to be that long. I think it'll be either November or December, because usually post-production takes about 5-6 months. And they are kind of still sort of letting stuff out. They're still filming, they haven't finished, but I don't think it's gonna take much longer with filming. So I'm thinking this year. I'm pretty positive about that. I think it'll be this year. I don't think Netflix wants us to wait more than we absolutely have to. So this thing is gonna be like right out of the gate. As soon as it's done, it's gonna be like out. I'm sure of it. The latest it could possibly come out for me would be like March, because I think we saw on some like set pictures when they started filming last year, I think we saw something about March, like it was spring break or something. So if they want to do the thing where they like match up the date on the show with the real date, I think March would be the latest that it could come out. And I still think that's a stretch. I don't think Netflix wants to wait on this any more than they absolutely have to. So I'm thinking this year, but latest would be March. I know people are thinking like summer next year. Some people are really pessimistic, and it's fine. I get it. Again, I'm not blaming anybody. I totally get it. I understand. But I have to be annoyingly optimistic. It's just who I am. So I'm thinking we're gonna see this season of Stranger Things relatively soon. I don't think we're gonna have to wait that much longer. And then, as if to make me feel better about it, about my prediction, this week the show came out with a little itty-bitty teaser trailer, the likes of which we have not seen since, what, March 2020? February 2020. Oh my god, it's been that long. It was like Valentine's Day. It was like the Super Bowl, wasn't it? Something like that. February 2020 when we saw the teaser with Hopper, which you can barely call that a teaser, but it was a big reveal, I guess, except most people already thought that Hopper would be the American. I wasn't as into it as most others were. I did not want him to be that because I thought it was a little bit too obvious, but they went with it, so sure, whatever, I'll take it. I just want Hopper back, okay? That's all I want. So I'm glad either way. But that was the last we saw of Stranger Things 4, and it's been over a year now, and there was nothing. So I don't blame fans for being upset that it's taking so long. I just think this show in particular, like with The Witcher as well, The Witcher just finished. They literally just finished filming season 2 as well. So they're going along the same lines when it comes to the timeline. So I've just always been more like laid back about that sort of stuff. I don't need them to give me one season every year. I would rather take quality over quantity. And yeah, I know that other shows do it just as well, like Love, Victor is the seasons coming out, and the High School Musical, the series, and other seasons coming out. Those have been out in less than a year. Those are not as involved as Stranger Things. So I don't get upset about it, but I understand why other people get upset about it, because it has been a long drought. A long drought, like longer than usual, and this show usually takes a long time. So I'm not upset. And honestly, the teaser that we got was not like terribly informative. Again, it's just one of those things where the trailer just has like one big reveal and they just read with it and that's it, and we have to we're sort of like left salivating for more, and we don't get more until later. But it did come out this week, and I wanted to acknowledge it by making a video, because it's been so long since I've done a Stranger Things video, because it's been so long since we've had any Stranger Things news. So I just wanted to acknowledge it, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the teaser trailer and the teaser to the teaser trailer, because they also did that. So just talk a little bit about it, maybe speculate a little bit. I honestly, because we've had so little to talk about, I don't like necessarily talking about set photos all that much. Like, I don't like showing them. I don't think it's fair on the powers that be to like be showing people scenes from the show, but not the way they intended those scenes to be seen. So I would rather not touch upon the set pictures, but I can comment a little bit on what I've seen. Honestly, I haven't seen that much because it's been so long that I haven't really been keeping up. I saw the casting announcements, you know, when they actually announced the cast for this season. It seems like a fun cast. I guess I have a little bit of an idea of what the characters are going to be like, which is really interesting, but I haven't been following as much. So my speculation is going to be limited today. However, feel free to like tell me stuff because I don't have the time to go and look for this kind of like information, but if I say something and it's already been revealed like to be something different, please correct me in the comments. I really appreciate it, and just tell me stuff about the season because I have not been paying enough attention to actually know. But I do want to touch upon this trailer, and that's what I'm gonna do today. So I really enjoyed this trailer, this teaser trailer, mainly because it focuses on something that I have been wanting for a long time, and the fandom has been wanting for a long time, and we haven't gotten basically since season 1. And that is, well, one, confirmation that Dr. Brenner, or Papa, is still alive. The Duffers said that if you don't see a body, then there's always the possibility of a person coming back, right? So everybody sort of assumed that he somehow managed to not die when a Demogorgon jumped him somehow. I don't know how that happens. Don't ask me. I'm sure they'll have some sort of reasonable explanation or whatever. But everybody's been wanting confirmation since then, and we saw him in one of Kali's illusions in season 2, but obviously that wasn't him. So the fandom has been chomping at the bit to actually see Brenner in the flesh again, like in an actual real version of him that we can actually see. And you know, I follow Matthew Modine. I don't my account for the vlog photos of Matthew Modine, and he's so active on Twitter that every time I see a tweet by him, it's like, man, I wish I could come back because he was so good as Dr. Brenner. And that is what this trailer basically gives us. It gives us another look at Matthew Modine as Dr. Brenner, and I think that's fantastic. We get a little bit more of the lab, which I think is the sort of the second thing that the fandom really has wanted to know, is for us to go back to that storyline of the kids in the lab. And you know, we know 11, we know Kali. We don't know about anybody else, and there's gotta be at least 9 more, correct? But we've never heard about them, we've never seen them, we have no idea what they can do, if they can do anything. So I have been really eager to go back to that storyline, and they haven't yet, because then the Russians got in the middle and it's all kind of being a big like action thriller ride. And I think the lab is the more psychological aspect of it all. Like, just, I mean, it is thrillerish still, but it's a more darker psychological type of horror thing. It's not so much about the monsters, it's about what human beings can do to these poor, it's just such poor kids, you know? So I think those are 2 things that the fandom and myself have really wanted to go back to, that the show hasn't gone back to yet. And it's very nice to see from this teaser that it seems at least like they're touching upon that again, which is nice. Now, as I was saying when I was talking about Brenner, I'm not entirely sure that he is actually in the present in this teaser, and I will go more into detail later, but either way, it's just a breath of fresh air to see him again and to see, you know, the lab again. I mean, we've seen the lab, but like the lab as it was when it was introduced to us in season one. So right, the first thing they released this past week was a teaser to the teaser, and it was a teaser where they showed us the control room at Hawkins' lab, and it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different, I'm so bad at counting, 7 different screens where they, you know, do you remember in season 2 when they were keeping tabs on like Will, and they had cameras on in the whole building and that sort of thing? It seems like the same room, except the cameras are not like in a grid, but right, so we see the 7 screens at the lab, which are ostensibly, you know, looking in on people who are in the lab. And in the 7 screens we see a bunch of different like images that pop up. It's really, I mean, it takes its time, but the images themselves are only there for a little bit. So we see like a handle on a door, the room, the rainbow room. I believe that's a board game. Then there's like toys and stuff, like a chess set, the door to the rainbow room, then a magic 8-ball. It has blood on it. That's really creepy. And, you know, more toys, more stuff with blood on it, which is really creepy. And interestingly enough, it doesn't seem to be part of the actual main trailer, but something that they just sort of put in to like make it creepier, which is great. I mean, it fits with the tone, and it wasn't so like cryptic that we didn't get it. Like, people recognized the rainbow room straight away, so that was pretty interesting. And then after that, I think it was the day after, we get the actual trailer, and the actual trailer is a little bit shorter actually, but it's faster paced. It shows you more stuff. So first we see a clock. It's 3 p.m. I guess. I mean, I'm not actually sure that it's in the afternoon, but it doesn't seem like it would be 3 in the morning, right? There wouldn't be people around at 3 in the morning, so I'm assuming it's 3 in the afternoon. Then we see a camera, of course, because this is Hawkins' lab. There will be cameras everywhere. And then we see a couple of kids playing with toy cars on the floor of a room that's painted over with a rainbow, right? The interesting thing about this specific shot is that the 2 kids, well, first off, they're wearing hospital gowns, which we obviously recognize because Eleven had worn that when she was at the lab, and the kids are also pushing the toy cars around with their mind. So yeah, that seems like a pertinent aspect of the shot, so that was interesting. After that, we see someone like looks like a little kid doing one of those, like throwing down one of those like Plinko discs. I don't know if you've seen, what is it, like The Price is Right, I think is the one that does Plinko. It's a game where you drop a disc and there are like lots of pins. So when you drop the disc like hits the pins, and it just, as it falls, and it just changes its course. And eventually at the very bottom of the setup, you have like different options, right? In this case, we see a little kid dropping down one of the discs into like a Plinko-like setup. Then after that, we see 2 kids playing chess, so that's where the chessboard comes from. There's no blood on this one, as I was saying. Like, there's no blood on the actual teaser trailer. It was just a teaser to the teaser. There are 2 kids also wearing hospital gowns playing chess. One thing I thought was interesting was they have, this is a chess set, right? But they have like a little tumbling pin thingy. I don't know, like a tumble top. I don't know what that's called. Honestly, I know it in Spanish, you won't get it. But it reminds me of the thing that Cobb used as his totem in Inception. Right? So like he knew if he spun it and it kept going, it meant he was in a dream, because in real life it's supposed to eventually fall, right? There's gravity, it can't just go on forever. So it's the thing that they used to show that Cobb was aware when he was in a dream or not. And it's one of those things that us as the audience look to when trying to decide if a certain sequence was a dream or was reality. And you know, spoilers if you haven't seen Inception, but it's been like a decade. So come on. At the end of the movie, we see the spinny thing actually spinning, and it starts to hobble. So we never see it fall. So it's one of the things that gives the story like an open ending, because it's like, yeah, sure, it seemed like it ended happily, but do we actually know that this is real? So I thought it was very interesting that they included one of those spinny top thingies on this specific, you know, shot of, because it almost like, if you're not paying attention, it almost looks like a chess set piece, like a chess piece, but it's not. It's spinny tabletop thingy, and it's actually out of place. Like, why would you have that on a chess, like near a chessboard, right? You're playing chess, you're not playing with a spinny top thing. So I wondered as soon as I saw it, like, did they do this on purpose? Either are they trying to tell us that this is some kind of like a flashback sequence, or I don't know, an illusion of some kind? More on that later. Then we see the 8-ball that we saw in the teaser trailer. It says signs point to yes, which is interesting. Again, no blood in this in this shot either. We see a kid playing with blocks. Again, they're all wearing hospital gowns. And then we see the disc that the little kid dropped into the Plinko setup, and we see that at the bottom where all the results are, the prices that you can sort of win in the Price is Right. In this case, instead of having like prices and stuff that you can win, it just has numbers, right? I would assume like from 1 to whatever. We never actually see the last number on the right. In the shot, we actually only see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it's interesting because obviously everybody sort of jumps to the idea that this has to do with the numbers, right? The kids in the lab who have powers, like 11, like Callie. We see that 8, there's already a disc on 8, and Callie was 8. And we see that there's already a disc on 4, and we don't actually know who 4 is. So it might be like a hint that we might get to know some other number. At first I thought it might be a comic thing, because I know that one of the numbers was sort of revealed in the comics, but I think it was 6, so I might be wrong. There's no disc on 6 in this shot. It's only 4 and 8, and then the disc that the kid dropped actually falls on 7. So 4, 7, 8. Those are the ones that are marked, and we'll wonder if it's a hint that maybe we will get to see all the other, or some of the other lab kids that we didn't get to see, namely 4 and 7. And hey, who knows, maybe Callie will be back. It could be. Then we see a wire shot of the Rainbow Room, which is the one that you can see right over there. Yeah, it's adorable, because like I thought when she said Rainbow Room, she just meant the little rainbow that was sticking on the door. Apparently the whole thing was painted over with rainbows, which, like, how progressive for the 80s. I'm totally into it personally. And then we see, because we see the wide shot of the room, we see the door at the back, and then the scene shifts so we can see the other side of the door. And on the other side of the door, Dr. Brenner is coming. Like, he actually walks up to the door, opens it, and you can see the rainbow in the background when he opens the door, so you know that he's coming into the room. And we hear him actually like greet the children. Now this isn't something that we've seen before. So it's obviously like Matthew Modine actually recorded it for this. I don't know how much he's going to be in the actual season. Like I don't know if he has like a big part of it, if it's just like a little bit like we had in season 2. But this is obviously new. Like they didn't record this like before. This isn't just like rehash of what already happened. This is new footage and new sound, and he goes into the room, he greets the children, he tells them like he asks them how they are, and they're like, we're all okay, Papa, whatever. It's really creepy. And then he tells them that he's got something special prepared for them today, which, yeah, not scary at all. Like, I would be terrified. Those poor children, I swear to God. And then the door closes behind him, obviously, and then the camera moves down the hall and past other doors, and then he comes up to one door, which is specifically marked 11, which is obviously, we know this is the room where 11 was held in for most of her childhood. And we hear him again. Brenner, we hear him again. He says, 11, are you listening? Which I really love, because it sort of reminded me of, you know, back before season 3 came out, and the only thing we knew about season 3 was like the episode titles. And the first title was Susie, are you Susie, do you copy? Susie, do you copy? And back then we had no idea who Susie was going to be. Obviously, like, I didn't even know that was a real person. I thought it was going to be 11's call sign when they spoke on like by walkie-talkie. I thought they would just call her Susie to like prevent her identity from going out or something. And this bit where with 11, are you listening, sort of reminds me of that. And I'm wondering if it's just supposed to be like this scary sort of like horror movie trope type phrase question where something is happening to someone and someone else is like, hey, are you listening? Are you listening? Or if it has something to do with radio signals. Like, do you know how sometimes in horror movies there's the trope where two people are talking on the phone and then something happens and one of them sort of stops speaking, I guess, or makes a weird sound or something, and the other one goes, hey, are you there? Are you there? That's sort of what that felt to me, like the 11, are you listening? It sort of felt like that, but maybe on the radio, like it to bring it sort of back to the original theme of Stranger Things. And I wonder if this is something, again, that he's saying, if it's something that's actually happening, because then the next shot we see is 11 opening her eyes, and I'm like, damn, is this a dream sequence? Are we just gonna see Brenner in a dream sequence again? Like, is it gonna be one of those things where he's not actually real? And honestly, I don't know. And it could be, because in that case, like, his 11, are you listening would actually sort of make sense in context. Like, she's hearing his voice, like a disembodied voice of Dr. Brenner, and it's haunting her dreams. Like, that would be like literal chills right now. It would be really cool to see. But I also like really want him to come back. So like, I don't know. I hope he does, especially if the whole point of this teaser was to sort of hint that we're going back to the conspiracy at Hawkins' lab instead of the whole detour with the Russians that we did last time. If we do go back to the original conspiracy of the lab and the what they were doing to kids, I sure hope we get to see Brenner. I have the feeling that this whole sequence that we saw is something in 11's dreams. Certainly that's the feeling that I get from it, but I hope that what it implies for the season, like taking it on a meta sort of way, like looking at it from above, not the content itself, but just the fact that this was chosen to be a teaser. I hope that tells us that we're going back to that and that we're going to see more of that. And there are a lot of characters that we're seeing in the character sheet that was released, the character profiles, that hey, any one of them could be one of the other numbers, or none of them could be one of the other numbers. Maybe the other numbers are just kept secret from us or something, but I do hope we're going back to that, because really, it's been hanging for a while, you know, and fans really want to know, and I think that's sort of what the Duffers sort of intended to get back to eventually. Like, the lab created the Upside Down, sort of, like, or created the portal to the Upside Down and let all these creatures in, and now the Russians have them too. So it's like, this all started with the lab, so it makes sense that it would come back to the lab at some point, especially since you left the whole thing with the other numbers just hanging, you know, like we know 8, we know 11, there's 9 more at least that could be out there who could be important, and it's really weird that they're not even mentioned up until this point. So I hope that's what this means. I don't necessarily think that the content of the teaser itself is necessarily like something that we will definitely absolutely see as part of the plot. I think this whole sequence is probably a dream that 11 is having. It might actually be like the opening of the season. Like, it seems like I would see an opening of a season where the first thing we're dropped into is 11's dream, and that kind of sets the tone for everything else. I like that. I don't know how this bit is going to tie together with all the other plots that we have, because we know from the first teaser we got that Hopper is in Russia, so he's gotta come back somehow. I don't know how that's gonna happen. And we know from like set pictures and from what we know about the characters that have been announced that there's, you know, a Hellfire Club in Hawkins High, and the boys are part of it, which totally makes sense. So how is that going to tie back into the lab? I don't know, and I honestly can't really speculate, because again, I haven't been following all the news and all the set pictures like obsessively or anything. I just look at them every once in a while because I feel weird looking at set pictures. Honestly, I don't like to share them. I don't like to, like, I mean, yeah, I don't know, I just started feeling weird about it since last time. So, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I welcome speculation. You guys probably know more about this than I do, but I didn't want to just let it pass because it's been so long, and I think they deserve that. I think the show sort of deserves my attention because they are still there, and I don't want to like make it seem like I'm just ignoring it. Now, one thing I do have to say is that they, in the description on YouTube for this teaser, they actually have a number sequence. It says 002, or on Twitter too, by the way, 002/004. People, when the teaser came out, the first thing that people jumped to was like release date. Everybody thought like, okay, so February 4th, that's the release date. I was immediately like, nope, that's not it. That can't be it. Mainly because I think February is very late, and I think it's going to come out this year. But also, like, no, they wouldn't announce a release date like that. Then people wondered if it was just maybe something about the numbers. Like, are we going to see number 1 and number 4? Maybe. Which is, I guess it's not impossible. Like, that was my first thought as well. But then people noticed that the first teaser that we got, the Hopper teaser that we got last year, actually said 001/004. Meaning we're probably gonna get like 4 videos total for this. I don't know if they mean 4 teasers or 4 like video releases altogether. So it could be that we got first teaser, second teaser, and then we get a full trailer. I don't know when, probably in a while. It's not gonna be like right away. And if you think we're gonna get it right away, I would tell you to like slow your roll there. That's not how marketing works. But I don't know if it's gonna be like teaser, then trailer, then final trailer, which is, they usually do 2 trailers, like the first one, which is just to reveal the date, and then the second one like a month or 3 weeks before the actual release date comes out. I don't know if they're counting those, or if they're saying that we're gonna get 4 teasers altogether before we get a trailer. That would be my preference, just because I want more stuff. So like, if we can get 6 instead of 4, I would love that. But I'm inclined to believe that means that we're not gonna get more stuff until we get a full trailer. But then that will probably come with a release date, so that will be interesting. But I don't expect that until they're done with the actual filming for the season, which they are still going with that. So yeah, I don't know. Still, hope's the last thing you lose. So, you know, I hope we get to see more of this. In the meantime, I'm good with this for now. Like, you won't hear me complaining about getting something, even if what we got was like super small and maybe not even an actual thing that is actually happening in the actual plot of the season. Maybe it's just a dream. I don't care. It's good. It's good to know. It's good to feel like, hey, Stranger Things is happening eventually, because people tend to forget about it, but like, it's coming back. Hopefully sooner rather than later. So I guess we'll see. So yeah, that's about it from my really quick analysis of the really quick Stranger Things 4 teaser that we got this week. It's just nice to know that Stranger Things is still a thing that exists. It's nice to know that they haven't completely forgotten that we're waiting. You know, so it's interesting that when they posted this on Twitter, I think the Stranger Things Twitter had posted like 6 months ago or something, and that was the last tweet they had or something like that. But it's nice to know that they still remember that we're waiting, and that they know that we're freaking desperate. So, you know, there are people who are mad because it's taking forever to get this season. I'm okay with it, as long as they keep giving me stuff like this every, I don't know, 3 months or so. I'm fine. And I think that's doable. I think that's doable from what they set out here. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Let me know in a comment. Are you pissed off that it's taking this long for Stranger Things 4 to come out? Like, are you one of those people, which, again, totally understand. I'm just not one of them. But, like, are you? Or are you, like, more like me and are, like, just waiting and trusting that it will hopefully be okay? Are you just, like, resigned to it sucking for one reason or another? I don't know. People seem to have lost trust in the Duffers since the last season. I know a lot of people didn't like season 3 as much as the other two. I think season 3 is probably not as good for me either as the first two, because it's more actiony, and the Russians did feel sort of like a side plot. But I liked it, so I'm not complaining about it, and I still trust the Duffers, so I really hope that season 4 will deliver, and that it will go back to what we loved of this show, which the first 2 seasons did it pretty well. So yeah, I guess that's it for me today. I don't really have much to talk about, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. When do you think we're gonna get a new teaser or possibly a full trailer? Do you think the season is going to come out this year? Will it be next year? When do you think it's gonna come out? Let me know in a comment. And while you're over there, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like my stuff, please subscribe to my channel. I'm always happy to see people liking and sharing and commenting and subscribing. It really helps me a lot with YouTube algorithms. My subscriber count is going up, which is yay! I'm so happy, but keep supporting, please. You guys are just excellent. And I love to see your comments and your likes, and it's all just great, so keep going at it. In the meantime, you can find me on social media. I am on Twitter and Instagram at girlsareweird with underscores between the words, and on Tumblr at girlsareweird with hyphens between the words. You can find a Facebook page for this vlog at facebook.com/FreakingNarnia. And as usual, you can find my main webpage at FreakingNarnia.com/vlog. That's VLOG. You can find all my videos up there in case you missed any. It's all in there. You just have to search for it. Also remember that I have a Redbubble store where I make art based on my favorite quotes from my favorite fandoms, and then you can use that art to print on different kinds of merchandise, such as, you know, computer covers, mugs, t-shirts, all sorts of stuff. So have a look, maybe purchase something if you're in the mood. It really does help me a lot. And remember, if you guys want to have these episodes of the Talks from Freaking Narnia series as podcasts, then what you want to do is subscribe to my Patreon. I have different tiers in there, but all the episodes go up in podcast form on the same day as they go up on YouTube. So if podcasts are more your thing, then you can subscribe to that tier. Or if you'd like to see some extra videos that I have up there that I do as Patreon exclusives, then you want to subscribe to that particular tier. Or also just leave a donation, like a Ko-fi donation on my Ko-fi page down there. Let me know which extra video you want to see, and I'll be sure to get back to you with a link so you can see it. So yeah, that's about it for me today. I will see you guys next time with another video from all the way in freaking Narnia. Bye. I am as a take out the stupid screensaver. Why do I always forget to stop the stupid screensaver? God damn it. Seriously, what is wrong with me? Why?